Today, in the history of our country, just came out, right? We have the most jobs available in the history of our country. Just came out.
Down to the wire for one of America's oldest and most iconic retailers. On the line, the last 425 stores and 68,000 jobs at both Sears and Sears-owned Kmart, both struggling to stay alive and relevant in 2019.
But remarkably, Amazon did not pay a single dime of federal income tax.
And any politician not addressing it is failing the American people.
But by the early 90s, Sears began struggling, dwarfed by Walmart and Target. Then bad financial decisions and online shopping began taking their toll.
And online shopping began taking their toll. And online shopping began taking their toll.
But remarkably, Amazon did not pay a single dime of federal income tax.
And any politician not addressing it is failing the American people. If you've heard anything about me and my campaign, you've heard that someone is running for president who wants to give every American $1,000 a month. I know this may sound like a gimmick, but this is a deeply American idea, from Thomas Paine to Martin Luther King.
One of the answers, it seems to me, is a guaranteed annual income, a guaranteed minimum income for all people and for all families of our country.
Artificial intelligence will soon be put to work at Walmart stores around the country.
We already automated away millions of manufacturing jobs, and chances are your job could be next.
For a glimpse of the future of retail, we head to Walmart in Milpitas. The company is launching a small army of autonomous scanning robots.
That's a nice one.
It's so cool.
Oh, so is that taking somebody's job?
It's not taking somebody's job. It's designed to improve the job.
Oh, so is that taking somebody's job?
It's not taking somebody's job. It's designed to improve the job. And any politician not addressing it is failing the American people.
We already automated away millions of manufacturing jobs, and chances are your job could be next. Senator Warren, I've been talking to Americans around the country about automation, and they're smart. They see what's happening around them. Their Main Street stores are closing. They see a self-serve kiosk in every McDonald's, every grocery store, every CVS.
Closing. They see a self-serve kiosk in every McDonald's, every grocery store, every CVS.
Your days could be numbered because while you were screaming for $15 an hour wages, McDonald's has gone and rolled out a self-service kiosks, several of them in the United States.
We already automated away millions of manufacturing jobs, and chances are your job could be next.
Automated cashiers are beeping and creeping up on people. Amazon has taken a very different approach with its Go stores. Literally, shop and leave, no interaction needed. More than 3 million cashier jobs, 74% of them held by women. But in the last 5 years alone, 50,000 jobs have gone offline, a trend expected to continue.
It does worry me because I do believe that these entry-level jobs that are applied in retail and some of the other jobs that are around will ultimately be automated out of existence.
More than 3 million cashier jobs, 74% of them held by women. But in the last 5 years alone, 50,000 jobs have gone offline, a trend expected to continue.
But remarkably, Amazon did not pay a single dime of federal income tax.
And any politician not addressing it is failing the American people. Raise your hand in the crowd if you've seen stores closing where you live. It is not just you. Amazon is closing 30% of America's stores and malls and paying zero in taxes while doing it.
Well, last year, Amazon, the company, made $11 billion in profit. That's 1/3 of the GDP of the entire state of Vermont. It's a ton of money. But remarkably, Amazon did not pay a single dime of federal income tax. And they're not alone. Dozens of profitable corporations paid nothing in federal income taxes this year. Delta Airlines, Chevron, GM, more. Some of them are even getting tax rebates they can apply later.
Sears is just the latest retailer to struggle. Macy's is downsizing. Toys R Us is out of business. Claire's, Brookstone, Nine West, and Walking Company all filed for bankruptcy last year.
I am a true Target fan. Right there it is.
Come January 31st, Terry will need to drive a little further for her Target fix after the retail giant announced it's closing 11 stores around the country, 3 in Michigan, including Monroe, Southfield, and Bay City.
But remarkably, Amazon did not pay a single dime of federal income tax.
And any politician not addressing it is failing the American people. Because right now there are these black holes just sucking that value out of your communities. We have to be honest. Why are your stores closing? There's a one-word answer for that. And what is that word? Amazon, that's right. Amazon's just sucking value out of your Main Street, and we're going to get it back. That's why I'm running for president.
They are dealing with 2 things. It's a double whammy, the Amazon effect. People are shopping from home.
They are dealing with 2 things. It's a double whammy, the Amazon effect. People are shopping from home.
They are dealing with 2 things. It's a double whammy, the Amazon effect. People are shopping from home.
They're shopping online. They're price comparison shopping. They're getting their deliveries within 2 days, and shipping is now free in most cases.
Breaking business headlines overnight. Forever 21 is closing its doors, filing for bankruptcy. Let's go to Scott Peterson with the details on why and what this says about these retail times. Scott.
Very tough times for brick and mortar to compete against the online universe of Amazon.
Scott.
Very tough times for brick and mortar to compete against the online universe of Amazon. Scott. Very tough times for brick and mortar to compete against the online universe of Amazon.
Clothing line, so they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, 44 stores to close. A larger bankruptcy in the U.S. where they have 800 stores. They plan to close a quarter of them.
But remarkably, Amazon did not pay a single dime of federal income tax.
And any politician not addressing it is failing the American people.
Which is why not just Macy's closing 100 stores, but you're seeing it across the board. Kmart is closing 68 stores. Walmart is closing 269 stores. And the Sports Authority is closing 460 stores. So we're really seeing a change at the department store and mall level.
An evolution in how we're shopping.
These are the problems that got Donald Trump elected, the 4th Industrial Revolution. And that is going to accelerate and grow more serious regardless of who is in the Oval Office.
Store closings and job losses. Radio Shack announcing over 1,000 store closings. And now today we had Staples announcing they're closing over 200 stores.
Maybe game over for a major retailer, at least for dozens of its stores. GameStop is struggling. The retailer's closing more than 180 stores around the world. The company said the closures at underperforming locations will take place over a 6-month period. According to executives, the struggles are a direct result of consumers shifting towards streaming and online games.
The struggles are a direct result of consumers shifting towards streaming and online games.
Rather than buying in-store consoles and video games.
But remarkably, Amazon did not pay a single dime of federal income tax.
GameStop's already closed 195 stores worldwide in the last 12 months.
2019 is starting out to be another year for major retail store closures. So year to date, we have at least 5,163 store closures that have been announced.
And any politician not addressing it is failing the American people.
So Payless is closing all 2,100 of its stores left over. Gymboree, all 749. Charlotte Russe closing 512 stores. All of those 3 are because they're being liquidated after failed bankruptcy reorganizations. Ascena Retail, remember that's the company that owns Ann Taylor, Loft, Dress Barn, Lane Bryant, Justice, Maurice's, and Catherine's. They're going to close 400 locations collectively. And then today, as you mentioned, Dollar Tree said it's closing 390 Family Dollar stores. Last week, Gap Inc. said it's going to close 230 Gap brand stores over 2 years.
But remarkably, Amazon did not pay a single dime of federal income tax.
And any politician not addressing it is failing the American people.
It's a weird system we have. Our tax code is broken, but almost no one's saying anything about it. Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang is. He has a plan that he says would change it.
If you've heard anything about me and my campaign, you've heard that someone is running for president who wants to give every American $1,000 a month. I know this may sound like a gimmick, but this is a deeply American idea, from Thomas Paine to Martin Luther King to today.
That is a great deal that the society can and must do.
Because the fact is, and you know this in Ohio, if you rely upon the federal government to target its resources, you wind up with failed retraining programs and jobs that no one wants. When we put the money into our hands, we can build a trickle-up economy. From our people, our families, and our communities up, it will enable us to do the kind of work that we want to do. This is the sort of positive vision in response to the fourth industrial revolution.
The biggest challenge to workers in countries like mine today is technology, because artificial intelligence is here and it is accelerating.
Because artificial intelligence is here and it is accelerating.
And you're going to have driverless cars, and you're going to have more and more automated services.
And you're going to have driverless cars, and you're going to have more and more automated services.
And that's going to make the job of giving everybody work that is meaningful tougher.
And that's going to make the job of giving everybody work that is meaningful tougher.
New forms of work that enhance the social good will have to be devised for those for whom traditional jobs are not available.
And we're going to have to be more imaginative. And the pace of change is going to require us to do more fundamental reimagining of our social and political arrangements. And so we're going to have to consider new ways of thinking about these problems, like a universal income.
So we're going to have to consider new ways of thinking about these problems, like a universal income.
The dignity of the individual will flourish when the decisions concerning his life are in his own hands, when he has the assurance that his income is stable and certain.
So why are you the only candidate who's thinking through what to do about this? I think it's kind of weird.
I think it's weird. Again, all you have to do is look around the world and say other countries, other advanced economies have figured this out. We're the only advanced economy that does not have a value-added tax in place. And we need to make sure that the American people are actually seeing some of the gains from the incredible innovation and value that companies like Amazon and Salesforce and Netflix, all of whom paid zero in taxes last year, are getting away with, really. And they're doing their job, which is to pay as little in taxes as possible. Right. We have to do our job, which is to make it so the American people see our fair share.
That is a great deal that the society can and must do.
And that's one reason why my campaign wants to take that money that we're getting from the value-added tax and return it to the American people in the form of a dividend, because that's the most direct way that we can actually have the American people benefit. The fear is that even if we do end up increasing the tax rate on some of these companies, that the American people won't benefit from that.
Because that money will be swallowed by our political machine somehow?
Yeah, it'll go into the giant pipes of D.C., never to be seen or heard from again. And so the goal is to make sure that doesn't happen by putting those economic resources directly into the hands of the American people.
Andrew Yang, certainly the most interesting person running for president, and sounds like a great idea to me. I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Mr. Yang, your main solution to job loss from automation is a universal basic income. Why is giving people $1,000 a month better than Sanders' plan to guaranteeing them a job?
I am for the spirit of a federal jobs guarantee, but you have to look at how it would actually materialize in practice. What are the jobs? Who manages you? What if you don't like your job? What if you're not good at your job? The fact is, most Americans do not want to work for the federal government. And saying that that is the vision of the economy of the 21st century, to me, is not a vision that most Americans would embrace. Also, Senator Sanders' description of a federal jobs guarantee does not take into account the work of people like my wife, who's at home with our 2 boys, one of whom is autistic. We have a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month. It actually recognizes the work that is happening in our families and our communities. It helps all Americans transition.
We read one day, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But if a man doesn't have a job or an income, he has neither life nor liberty and the possibility for the pursuit of happiness. He merely exists. And the question is whether America will do it. There's nothing new about poverty.
In the face of these changes, we need to build a new kind of economy, one that puts people first. Hello, I'm Andrew Yang, and I'm running for president as a Democrat in 2020. I believe I have the right vision, priorities, and values to improve the lives of millions of Americans. 7 years ago, I started Venture for America to train hundreds of young entrepreneurs to build businesses in Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore, and other communities across the country. Together, we helped create thousands of jobs. But during this time, I came to realize that technology has already wiped out 4 million manufacturing jobs in Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and other states. And it's about to do the same thing to people who work in retail, food service and food prep, customer service, transportation, as well as industries like insurance, accounting, medicine, and law. I saw so much over the last number of years traveling this country. What I experienced was an eye-opener to me, where I would walk through abandoned neighborhoods and boarded up businesses. I have 2 young boys, and I'm deeply concerned about the future that they're going to grow up in. If we don't change things dramatically, they're going to grow up in a country with fewer and fewer opportunities, and a handful of companies and individuals reaping the gains from new technologies while the rest of us struggle to find opportunities and eventually lose our jobs. And it doesn't need to be that way.
And I say to you today that if our nation can spend $35 billion a year to fight an unjust, evil war in Vietnam and $20 billion to put a man on the moon, it can spend billions of dollars to put God's children on their own 2 feet right here on earth. People must be made consumers by one method or the other. We must develop progress that will drive the nation. That is a great deal that the society can and must do.
We are experiencing the greatest technological and economic shift in human history. We need a way to help millions of Americans transition through this period, and a universal basic income is the best and most efficient way to do that. Hello, I'm Andrew Yang, and I'm running for president as a Democrat in 2020. Under my plan, every American adult will receive $1,000 a month, free and clear, paid for by a new tax on the companies that benefit most from automation. If we provide a universal basic income, Americans will be able to go back to school, move for a new opportunity, start their own business, and really have their head up as they plan for the future. With your help, we can make universal basic income a reality. Join us and let's build a new kind of economy, one that puts people first.
That is a great deal that the society can and must do.
If you can imagine a country where everyone's getting $1,000 a month as a right of citizenship, it would make our families stronger and healthier, it would create millions of jobs in our communities, it would improve our mental health, would decrease our stress levels, would improve relationships, and we can very much make this happen. I'm not running for president because I fantasized about ever being president. I'm running for president because I'm an American and I'm a parent, and I can see the country we will leave to our children, and it is not something that I'm willing to accept. The challenges of this era are massive, but if we rise to the challenge, we can usher in a new era of greater equality, freedom, and abundance for all Americans. We can light the country on fire with the vision of an economy that works for us. We're going to make history together in 2020.
Our next president of the United States, Andrew Yang.
We have forgotten the power that we hold. And this campaign is going to wake people up to the fact that we are still in control of our own future.
Thank you all, we love you.
And we now have the techniques and the resources to get rid of poverty. The real question is whether we have the will.
But I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.